All right, so today we're going to break down a really powerful skill, positive thinking. And look, this is so much more than just slapping on a smile. It's actually a structured way to build genuine resilience and find real meaning in your life. We're going to walk through it step by step.
You know that moment, right? You spill your morning coffee, your tea, whatever it is, and your first gut reaction might be to get frustrated, maybe even ruin your mood. But what if you just laughed instead? Life is just full of these little accidents. The real trick isn't about avoiding them because you can't. It's about choosing how you respond. Do we complain, or do we just see it as a minor blip in an otherwise okay day? That choice, right there, that's where everything begins.
So, to really get a handle on this, we're going to level up through 4 distinct stages. We'll start with the simple foundation, which is all about mindset. Then we'll move into taking action. After that, we face the true test, resilience. And finally, we'll get to the highest level of all, finding meaning.
Okay, let's start with level 1, the first shift. This is all about your mindset. And the core idea here is incredibly simple, but really, really powerful. Your feelings almost always follow your thoughts. The problem itself doesn't just vanish, but how you feel about it, that can change in an instant.
The real power of this first shift, it's all in the language we use with ourselves. You know, that little voice in your head? Just notice the change here. Shifting from "I can't do this" to "I'll try." That's not about denying that something's hard. It's about choosing a thought that empowers you instead of one that defeats you before you even begin.
Here's a great way to think about it. Imagine your problem is a heavy backpack. If you tell yourself, "Oh, this is too heavy, I hate this," that bag is going to feel heavier. But if you reframe it, "Okay, this is exercise. This is making me stronger." The physical weight is exactly the same, but your ability to carry it completely changes. Same bag, different thought.
All right, let's level up. A positive mindset is just the starting line. It's not the finish line. Level 2 is all about action. Why? Because without action, optimism is just kind of empty waiting. It's about turning that positive energy into actual real-world results.
You know, the crucial shift here is to stop seeing optimism as some passive feeling you either have or you don't. That's not it at all. Instead, I want you to think of it like a muscle. It needs to be trained. The more you intentionally practice it, the stronger it gets, and the more it becomes your default response. It is a skill you develop, not some trait you're just born with. So, how do you train it? Here are 3 simple, super concrete habits. First, every evening, write down 3 good things that happened. This retrains your brain to actually look for the positives. Second, start your morning with a positive phrase, something like, "I can handle today." It just sets a confident tone. And third, reframe those minor setbacks, like missing the bus, as an opportunity for, say, 10 minutes of quiet time. It can change your entire experience of the day.
And now for level 3. This is the true test, resilience. This is where positive thinking meets real life. Because, let's be honest, life involves failure and major setbacks. It's not about avoiding them, it's about how you get back up when they inevitably happen.
This Japanese proverb just captures the spirit of resilience perfectly. It acknowledges that you will fall. It's a given. Negativity says, "Why even bother trying again?" But resilience, it's not some shallow optimism. It's the profound strength to see a setback not as the end of the story, but just as one chapter.
So what's the secret here? What resilient people don't ignore pain, they reinterpret it. Think about this shift in perspective. Where one person sees punishment, a resilient person sees preparation. Where one sees a dead end, another finds an unexpected new direction. This simple cognitive shift, it changes everything. And that brings us all the way to level 4, the final form, meaning. At this highest stage, positive thinking isn't just a tool anymore. It evolves into a full-blown philosophy. It's not about pretending life is always good. It's about finding purpose even and maybe especially within the struggle. This quote just says it all. Life's storms, the difficulties, the losses, the chaos, they're absolutely inevitable. You can't stop the waves from coming. The real choice is whether you fight them helplessly and get pulled under, or you learn to find your balance and ride them. That's learning to surf. The psychologist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl, he put it best. Suffering for no reason at all is crushing. It's unbearable. But if you can find a purpose in it, a lesson, a way to help other people, a source of personal growth, that very same suffering can be transformed into your greatest strength. It really helps to imagine your life as this giant, sprawling tapestry. It's woven from countless threads, right? Some of those threads are bright and beautiful. They represent joy, success, and love. But it also has dark threads, and those represent struggle, loss, and pain. Now, on their own, those dark threads might just seem ugly or out of place. But when they are woven together with the bright ones, they provide the contrast and the depth that creates a truly rich, complex, and beautiful pattern. A life with only bright threads would be flat, one-dimensional. The struggles, they're what give it meaning. So, this brings us to the final question, and it's one for you to really reflect on. In your own life, when you're facing challenges, what's your goal? Are you just chasing quick comfort, trying to avoid any and all difficulty? Or are you using both the bright and the dark threads to build something more lasting? A life of purpose, resilience, and true, deep meaning.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. If you've ever felt that the whole positive thinking thing is maybe a bit shallow.
Like just forcing a smile.
Exactly. Forcing a smile when things are genuinely tough. Well, today's deep dive is probably for you. We've got some really interesting material that takes positive thinking beyond just, nice sayings. It actually organizes it into this surprisingly structured 4-level system.
Yeah.
Almost like levels of mastery.
Yeah, that structure is really the key, I think. We're not just talking general optimism. It's laid out as a progression, moving from B1, then B2, and up to C1 and C2.
Like learning a language or a skill?
Precisely. It changes the question from, are you positive or negative, to something more like, okay, how developed is your positive thinking practice?
And what I found fascinating is how it all starts. It kicks off with these incredibly small, almost instant shifts in how you think.
Right.
The sources had some great little personal stories, those tiny moments that really define the start, that B1 level.
Yeah, like the one about spilling tea on a notebook. Instantly annoying, right?
Oh, definitely. Ruin your morning.
But the thought wasn't, my day's ruined. It was more like, ooh, okay, now I've got a reason to go buy that other notebook I actually wanted anyway.
Finding the silver lining immediately.
Or the other one about missing the morning coffee, which for many of us...
Disaster. Absolute disaster.
Right. But instead of that downward spiral, the immediate thought was, well, at least I didn't scald myself trying to grab it quickly.
It's such a small thing, but it totally changes the energy of that moment.
That's it. That's the absolute core trick, especially at level 1. Are you going to complain, let it drag you down? Or are you going to kind of pivot, find a laugh or a lesson or even just relief?
That split-second decision.
That choice. That's the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about.
Okay, so let's unpack that foundation then. Level 1, B1. It's essentially learning to consciously choose a good thought, or maybe a better thought, over a bad one.
Exactly. Substituting it.
Sounds basic, maybe. But when you're stressed, choosing, okay, I'll try this, I can figure it out, instead of that immediate, nope, I can't do this, that takes actual mental effort.
It really does. And the analogy they use, which I thought was brilliant, was the heavy backpack.
Ah, yes, the backpack, okay.
So imagine you're hiking, right? And the backpack is genuinely heavy. That physical weight, that's a constant. It is what it is.
Right. And you could be walking along thinking, this is agony. This thing weighs a ton. I hate this hike. Why did I even come?
And what happens?
The bag feels heavier. Somehow mentally, you've just added like 10 pounds to it.
Exactly. You're compounding the physical load with mental resistance. Your own thoughts are working against you.
Okay, so what's the level 1 shift?
The shift is deciding to reframe it. You tell yourself, okay, this isn't just a heavy bag. This is training. This is making me stronger, building resilience.
I'll feel good about this later.
Yeah, something like that. And the amazing thing is, you haven't taken anything out of the bag. The weight's the same.
But it feels lighter. The experience changes.
It does. So what's going on there? It's not magic.
No, it's about confidence, how you're approaching the challenge.
That's what the sources suggest. It's about equipping yourself emotionally. Level B1 isn't about pretending the problem isn't there, that the bag is heavy. It's about managing your internal state so you can actually deal with the external reality better.
So you choose thoughts that give you energy to cope, rather than thoughts that drain your energy fighting the situation and your own bad mood.
Precisely. You stop letting your attitude become the biggest obstacle.
Got it. Makes totally sense.
Okay, so if B1 is making that crucial first choice, the immediate next question is, how do you make that stick? How do you stop that positive thought from just, vanishing a few minutes later when something else goes wrong?
Okay. And that leads us into level 2, B2.
Exactly. B2, action and habit. This is where we really push back against that fuzzy idea of positive thinking as just passive wishing.
Right. The misconception that you just sit there, visualize success, and it magically happens.
Yeah, B2 says that's nonsense. Optimism without action is basically useless. It's empty.
You can't just say, I'll pass the exam over and over.
If you never open a book, it sounds obvious, but people fall into that trap. The positive thought is meant to fuel the action, not replace it.
Or the other example they gave, repeating, I am healthy, I am fit every morning.
While your main exercise is walking to the fridge for snacks, your body isn't listening to those affirmations if your actions contradict them.
So optimism needs follow-through.
Desperately. And this is why the sources frame optimism almost like a muscle.
Okay, a muscle. How so?
Well, a muscle doesn't get stronger just by thinking about it. It needs exercise, consistent, daily, sometimes slightly uncomfortable training.
So B2 is about building the habits that train your positive thinking muscle.
Yes, deliberate micro-habits, things that force you to practice that B1 choice consistently.
And what kind of habits are we talking about? Are they complicated?
Not at all. They're wonderfully simple, actually. Like taking just a few minutes every evening and actually physically writing 3 good things that happened that day.
Even tiny things.
Especially tiny things. It trains your brain to scan for the positive, to notice things it might otherwise ignore.
Okay, that makes sense, like tuning your attention.
Exactly. Or starting the day with a simple, actionable phrase. Not just, I'm great, but something like, okay, whatever comes up, I can handle today.
It connects the thought to your capability for action.
Right. And that daily practice, like the 3 good things, builds the mental infrastructure. It makes the B1 choice, choosing the good thought, easier and more automatic over time. B2 supports B1.
So it helps break that automatic negative spiral, like the classic example. You miss your bus.
Perfect example. The untrained reaction is immediate. Oh no, this is terrible. My whole schedule's ruined. Panic sets in.
Yeah, been there.
But the B2 trained brain, it intercepts that. It goes, okay, bus missed. Fact, can't change it. But what can I do with these unexpected 10 minutes?
So it shifts from victim to agent.
Precisely. Maybe I can finish this article or make that quick call or, listen to the latest deep dive. You turn dead time, frustration, into something useful.
Because you've practiced finding that alternative positive action so many times, it becomes a default.
That's B2. Habit makes the choice real.
Okay, so B1 is the choice. B2 is building the habit through action. Where does level 3, C1, take us? This sounds like it gets tougher.
It does. C1 is where this whole practice gets seriously stress tested. We're moving beyond the missed bus or the spilled tea. We're talking about the big stuff now, real setbacks.
Like it.
Like failing that huge exam you studied months for, pouring your heart into a work project only to have it completely fall apart.
Or finding out someone you really trusted.
Yeah.
Let you down badly.
Exactly. These are the moments where B1's simple choice and B2's habits face a genuine crisis.
Because the negative voice isn't just whispering anymore, right? It's shouting.
Oh, it's yelling. See, I told you. What was the point of trying so hard? Just give up.
And C1 is the ability to handle that.
C1 is resilience. It's the power to look at that failure, that setback, and reinterpret it. To understand that failure isn't the end of the story. It's data. It's a lesson. It's information you needed.
It's not a full stop. It's a comma, maybe.
Or a detour sign.
You have a required detour, maybe onto a path you wouldn't have found otherwise.
The sources mentioned a saying for this level.
They did, that powerful Japanese proverb, fall 7 times, stand up 8.
Fall 7 times, stand up 8.
What's key there is it acknowledges the falling. 7 times. It doesn't pretend the falls, the pain, didn't happen.
It validates the struggle.
Completely, but the emphasis is always on that next action, standing up again, the 8th time.
So it's about mental toughness, really, not just putting on a happy face.
Absolutely not happy face territory. Resilient people, C1 people, they don't necessarily feel less pain than others. They just use the pain differently. They process it, learn from it, and ask immediately, okay, what did that teach me? How does this make me stronger or smarter for next time?
There's a psychological reframing happening. Definitely. Psychology shows us the difference between someone who grows from suffering and someone who's broken by it often comes down to interpretation. Think about it. 2 people go through the exact same betrayal, the same job loss. One person sees it as punishment, proof the world is against them, proof they're unlucky or unworthy. It confirms a negative narrative.
Okay, and the other person?
The C1 resilient person. They look at the exact same event and see it as preparation.
Preparation. How so?
They think, wow, that was tough, but I survived it. And the strength or the caution or the wisdom I gained from that experience is exactly what I'll need for the next challenge or the next opportunity.
So the suffering wasn't meaningless. It was forging something necessary.
Exactly. That shift in perspective is enormous. And that leads to the challenge for you, listening right now. Think about a significant setback from your past, something that really hurt at the time.
How did you describe it then? A disaster. Unfair.
Yeah.
A failure.
Now try this. Can you look back at that same event today with the knowledge you have now and reframe it? Can you genuinely see how it was in some way preparation for who you are now, for the strengths you have today?
That ability to rewrite your own narrative of struggle.
That's the power of C1 thinking. That's resilience in action.
Wow. Okay, so if C1 is resilience in the face of major setbacks, what could possibly be left? What's level 4, C2?
C2 is, well, it's the final boss level, maybe. It's where positive thinking moves beyond just a technique or a habit. It becomes a deeper life philosophy.
A philosophy. How does that differ from C1 resilience?
C1 is about bouncing back from specific events. C2 is about finding meaning in the entire pattern of struggle and difficulty in life. It involves asking those really profound questions like, okay, this constant challenge, this ongoing difficulty, what is it fundamentally teaching me? Not just about this situation, but about life, about myself.
How can this hardship make me wiser or more compassionate?
Exactly. It's a deeper layer of meaning making. It accepts that we can't always control what happens to us. Life throws curveballs. Big ones.
The sources had a metaphor for this too, right? Something about waves.
Yeah, the surfing metaphor. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf.
I like that.
It's powerful because it accepts the reality of storms. Chaos is inevitable. Bad things happen. The waves will come. The C2 question isn't how do I stop the waves? It's how do I find balance within the chaos? How do I learn to ride these forces rather than be crushed by them?
Finding purpose even when things are turbulent.
And that connection to purpose is absolutely central to C2. This is where Viktor Frankl's ideas come in, which the sources touched upon.
From man's search for meaning.
Right. Frankl, having endured unimaginable suffering in concentration camps, observed that survival often depended on finding a why. If you could find a purpose, a reason, even a future goal or a relationship to hold on to, you could endure almost any how. Suffering without any meaning felt unbearable.
But suffering for something.
Suffering with a purpose, even a self-assigned purpose, becomes a source of incredible strength. It transforms the experience.
So the goal at C2 isn't really about feeling good all the time or avoiding pain?
Not at all. It's about pursuing meaning. And the final metaphor they used explains this beautifully, the tapestry.
Ah, the tapestry of life.
Yeah. Imagine life as this huge, intricate tapestry being woven.
Yeah.
It has bright threads, right?
Right.
The joys, the successes, the happy times, beautiful, shiny threads.
Yeah.
But it also has dark threads. The losses, the failures, the grief, the struggles.
The parts we don't like looking at.
Exactly. And if you focus just on one single dark thread, isolated from the rest, it looks ugly, out of place, like a mistake in the pattern.
You'd want to just pull it out.
Maybe. But then you step back, you look at the whole tapestry, the entire cloth, and you realize those dark threads are absolutely essential. They provide the contrast, the depth, the texture that makes the bright threads stand out.
So a tapestry made only of bright threads.
It would be flat, one-dimensional, almost boring, maybe. It's the interplay, the weaving together of the light and the dark that creates a pattern that's rich, complex, strong, and ultimately far more meaningful than shallow perfection could ever be.
That's quite a perspective shift.
That's the essence of C2. Choosing to weave a life of purpose and meaning, incorporating all the threads rather than just constantly chasing comfort or trying to cut out the dark bits.
So that's quite a journey we've traced. From B1, that simple split-second choice of thought, through B2, building the daily habits that reinforce the choice.
Then C1, developing that resilience, the ability to reinterpret major setbacks.
And finally, landing at C2, where it becomes this whole philosophy of finding meaning in the entire tapestry, dark threads and all.
Yeah, the big takeaway, I think, is that your mindset isn't fixed. It's not something you're just born with. It's a skill, a cumulative one, something you can actively train and develop level by level.
And mastering that internal world, that way of thinking, it's just as important, maybe even more so, than learning any external skill.
I'd argue it's foundational to using any external skill effectively, actually.
Good point. The structure's there. You can start training wherever you feel you are on that ladder right now.
Yeah.
And just to wrap up, we want to leave you with a final thought to chew on, tying back to that C2 tapestry idea.
Yeah, think about your life right now. Is there a current dark thread? A frustration, maybe? A persistent struggle? A disappointment that's weighing on you?
Something that feels just negative.
Okay, now, just for a moment, try on that C2 perspective. If you knew, somehow, that this specific dark thread was absolutely essential for the final, beautiful, rich pattern of your life's tapestry.
If you knew it was necessary for the depth and meaning of the whole picture.
What meaning or what purpose could you choose to assign to it starting today? How could reframing it right now begin to help you weave that richer, more profound life?
Something to think about. Keep training that mindset. Keep building those levels.
And we'll catch you on the next deep dive.